And Gabby Williams were slow to get up after a collision underneath the basket. Here's what happened.
Oh, that is a major collision for the two of them. They both knock heads. It took them both some time to get to their feet.
Lexie Hull hit the floor and the entire arena went silent. A brutal head-to-head collision with Gabby Williams left her clutching her forehead. The swelling so bad fans were convinced her night was over. On the sidelines, her teammates looked stunned, and social media lit up with one question: how much more can this team take? But just when everyone thought the Fever were finished, Lexie walked back onto that court. And what happened after that didn't just save a game. It sent a message to the entire WNBA. Because on a night built to celebrate Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever reminded everyone, they are far more than one star. And what this injury-depleted squad did to the Seattle Storm may have just flipped the entire playoff race upside down.
Woo! First home game, got a dub, let's get it.
Big dub. Let's go.
Fever dub, bow. Woo! Dubs. It's giving.
The night didn't start with hope. It started with problems. Caitlin Clark was still sidelined, nursing that painful groin injury that's kept her out since mid-July. Sophie Cunningham? Outside. Ari McDonald? Outside. Sydney Coulson? Outside. And Chloe Beebe? Fighting through knee soreness. That left the Fever with a rotation so thin it barely looked like a professional roster. Analysts predicted a blowout. Even loyal fans admitted it. If they could just keep it close, that would be enough.
AB's been the one that's been most affected by all of our injuries. You know, all of the point guards that know how to get her the ball and how they get it to her. And it's not just getting her the ball, it's where you get it to her. You know, getting it to her on time, on target, you know, thinking one pass ahead, you know, all that matters. And I thought today, her aggressiveness with the ball in her hands to the rim, getting into defenders, playing low to high instead of high to low. When she plays like that, you know, there's nobody that can stop her. And, you know, she set the tone for us, really on both ends. You know, she had the NECA assignment as well and set the tone for us on both ends. And, you know, she was terrific.
And to make it worse, this wasn't just any game. Seattle sat one spot ahead of Indiana in the standings. The playoff race was tight. One win could mean everything. One loss could erase weeks of progress.
Aaliyah, this is a string of games, beginning of a string of games against the teams you're competing for a playoff spot against. Did this game feel more important in that regard? And I guess how big was it to get a win in this one?
Yeah, I mean, going into this game, we talked about that this was going to be a big game for us, considering the standings where Seattle was. But, you know, going into the West Coast trip, I mean, right now we're just going to be focused on LA. That's kind of been our motto this entire season, is just focus on the game ahead of you, be where your feet are. And so starting tomorrow, we're going to be looking at LA. But I mean, this next string of games definitely important for us, but we got to take it one game at a time.
Inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse, banners for Caitlin Clark's new Nike logo were everywhere. Her brand was the story, but her absence loomed like a shadow. Without her scoring gravity and floor vision, the pressure fell squarely on Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and a bench full of players running on grid alone. No one expected what was about to happen next.
And Gabby Williams were slow to get up after a collision underneath the basket. Here's what happened.
Oh, that is a major collision for the two of them. They both knock heads. It took them both some time to get to their feet.
It happened fast. A scramble under the basket, a loose ball that nobody wanted to give up. Lexie Hull and Gabby Williams both dove, heads colliding with a sickening thud that echoed through the arena. Hull hit the ground, motionless for a moment, her hand instantly going to her forehead. The cameras zoomed in, showing the swelling building second by second. Fans at home winced, and inside the arena, the energy collapsed.
Happened on that play?
I didn't know exactly what happened when it happened. It was kind of just like a clash. But looking at the video, it just, you know, Gabby and I ran into each other. Unfortunate, unlucky. I think we both have knots on our head, so we both kept playing, so that's all right.
Were you pretty dazed when you...
Yeah, I think it's more like what just happened, big like collision. I just need some time, felt my face, felt a growing knot, so that doesn't feel good.
Not Lexie, one fan whispered near the court. With half the roster already gone, losing her felt like the final blow. As she was helped to the locker room, the whispers turned to silence.
Storm basketball. Delivery starters, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexie Hull. Second to the foot.
Minutes passed. The Fever fought to stay alive on the court, but their bench was tight and the Storm smelled blood. Then, almost out of nowhere, the crowd erupted. Lexie Hull walked back onto the floor. The knot on her forehead was still there, a visible badge of pain, but her body language, unshaken. On her very first possession, she dove for a loose ball, sliding across the floor like nothing had happened. The arena exploded, and for the first time that night, belief filled the building.
Getting back on the bench, was everybody just kind of staring at your forehead directly?
I knew yeah. Everyone's like, "You look beautiful." I was like, "I know I look insane," but it honestly looks better now than it did when it first happened. So, hopefully this goes down quick.
Did you glance up at the video board to see it? Did you get a look at it?
No, I could see it. Looking out, I could see it just from my own eyes, so I didn't need to look anywhere. I knew it was going to be big.
No way. So it's in your peripheral vision?
Yes, it was literally sticking out. I mean, it's still big right here, but it was bigger and I could see it, so they brought it down a little.
Your teammates, your coach, the GM, everybody's just kind of talking about your toughness, I guess. So there's not really a good way to ask that question, but you could just talk to me about that toughness and where that comes from.
I mean, if I can play, if I feel like I can play, whether or not I look good or not isn't the problem. So, I think for me, it's just the team is the most important thing. Getting wins is the most important thing. And if I can contribute in any way I can, that's what I'm going to do. So if it's playing a little injured, playing a little hurt, that is what it is.
Awesome.
That one act, a player refusing to stay down, changed everything. The energy shifted, and the Fever began to play like a team that refused to quit.
Lexie Hull gets hit in the head there at the beginning of the game, comes back in. If you could just speak to her toughness and what it meant seeing her fight through what sure was not very pleasant.
I feel like Lexie's the definition of tough.
Yes.
I think when you just think of her as a player, the way that she hustles, she likes to get loose balls, extra offensive possessions. That's what she does. I mean, she got hit, she came back and just continued to contribute again. Was a pest on defense, just making her presence felt, offensive rebounds, and that's just...
While Hull set the emotional tone, Aaliyah Boston took over the game itself. From the moment she touched the ball, Seattle had no answer. Boston posted up deep, bullied defenders, and scored at will. By halftime, she was already in double figures, and the Storm's front court was reeling. Every rebound looked automatic. Every post-up forced double teams. And when those doubles came, Boston stayed calm, finding open shooters or resetting the offense. She finished with 27 points and 9 rebounds, but the numbers don't tell the full story. This was Boston saying, "This is my paint, my game, my night." And then there was Odyssey Sims. Signed late in the year, Sims has quickly become the fearless veteran Indiana desperately needed. Against Seattle, she didn't just step up, she took over. She drove to the rim with confidence, pushed the pace in transition, and knocked down the shot that sent the arena into chaos. A deep logo 3 that dropped perfectly. The crowd went insane. Teammates on the bench were jumping, screaming, and pointing. That single shot was more than 3 points. It was a statement. A reminder that this team, no matter how depleted, was still dangerous. While Boston and Sims grabbed the highlights, Kelsey Mitchell did what she always does, deliver steady, reliable scoring. When Seattle made small runs, Mitchell was there with a response. A smooth jumper, a clutch 3, or a fearless drive to the basket. Her 21 points didn't just pad the box score, they stabilized the Fever every time the game threatened to tilt. Mitchell's consistency is what allows the rest of the team to shine. She stretches defenses, opens lanes for Boston, and gives Indiana a perimeter threat they can always trust. For the first time in weeks, the Fever played like a team with purpose. Every defensive rotation was sharp, every rebound was contested, every loose ball was chased like the season depended on it. And in many ways, it did. By the time the fourth quarter rolled around, the Storm looked broken. Indiana wasn't just surviving without Caitlin Clark. They were dictating the game, forcing Seattle to react to their pace and physicality. This wasn't luck. This wasn't desperation. This was identity. A team finally finding out who they are without their superstar. When the final buzzer sounded, the scoreboard told one story. Indiana 95, Seattle 75. But the real story was written in the faces of the players. Smiles, relief, pride. In the locker room, head coach Stephanie White's voice cracked as she praised the team. "That's the most complete game we've played in a long time. Total team effort. That's what wins games in August." Aaliyah Boston hit her 1,000th career rebound. Kelsey Mitchell broke the franchise record for most points in a season. And Lexie Hull? She was mobbed by teammates who knew exactly what her toughness had sparked. As special as the night was, there was one more headline waiting in the wings. Caitlin Clark's return. For the first time since mid-July, she practiced live with the team. Not light drills, not walkthroughs, full practice, contact, pressure. Stephanie White made it clear, the staff wants to see how her body responds before clearing her for game action. But if everything goes well, all signs point to her return in the next game against Los Angeles. And that changes everything, because if this team can dominate without Clark, imagine what they can do with her stretching defenses, controlling tempo, and turning those tough half-court possessions into instant offense. On a night meant to celebrate Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever sent a message that echoed far beyond Gainbridge Fieldhouse. This team is ready to fight, with or without her. Boston is locked in. Sims has found her rhythm. Mitchell is steady as ever. And Lexie Hull? She might be the toughest player in the league. So here's the warning to the WNBA. If Indiana is this dangerous shorthanded, what happens when they're finally whole? If you believe the Fever are about to shock the league, drop a comment saying, "I've got the Fever." Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. And if you want to relive Caitlin Clark's most dominant game before her injury, click the video on your screen now, because the best is yet to come.